Edinburgh today, George Pirrie Antiques, a classical Scottish antique shop, if ever you saw one. Very grand, right in the centre of Edinburgh.
Excellent.
These dealers in Scotland, they travel far and wide, and Scotland is a very big country,
Yes.
so it does turn stuff up, even though there's a lot of competition up here for it.
Edinburgh likely started as a hill fort thousands of years ago on the dramatic Castle Rock. Designated a royal burgh in the 12th century, its marketplace began to attract international traders to service a growing local nobility. It was in the mid-18th century that town planners began to build gracious new housing for the city's wealthier class. Today still known as Newtown, this area of Edinburgh remains Britain's most complete example of Georgian architecture and is a UNESCO heritage site. It's the perfect location for a business specialising in high-end furniture, run by artisanal cabinet maker George Pirrie.
I entered into the antique business when I was 16 years old. And I supply antiques and furniture and interiors to all parts of the new town in Edinburgh, which of course, as you can see, lends itself to this type of furniture. We have our own in-house tradesmen, so we do upholstery, cabinet making, polishing here. The aim is that people can walk in the door and they can see items that are ready to go into their house, so it's much easier for them to think how it would work for them.
Because George's shop is a perfect example of a Georgian townhouse, it's almost a living showroom, ideal to display items to locals with homes of similar proportions and dimensions.
We're looking forward to having Drew and tea here today. Keen to see what sort of things he's looking for. We're here to please, so hopefully he'll find something.
George.
Good morning. Welcome to George Pirrie Antiques in Edinburgh.
Very nice, very nice. We're not used to this sort of level of glamour.
Oh,
This is very glamorous for us.
I can assure you it's just the front. It gets a bit rough around the edges.
Can we have a look around?
Of course you can. You're
Let's have
very
a look through
welcome.
here. The standard of the stuff, the restorations you've done in here is very good.
I served my time as a cabinet maker with an old firm called Galway and Sykes.
Okay.
And for here, we like to keep things in good condition. I like people to be able to walk in the door, see something ready to go into the house. Because a lot of people, unlike you and I, can't visualise things which are not restored or not finished. So therefore, we have to do the work first so that it can go on the floor and sell it for there. And especially being in this part of Edinburgh, where I'm surrounded in fantastic properties with beautiful drawing rooms, which all lend themselves to this type of decor.
He's put himself in the middle of his clientele. That makes, like, common sense, doesn't it? But so many dealers don't do that, me included. But he's done it. The shops and the houses here, all of this stuff fits in those houses. There was these I spotted as I came through the door.
Oh, yeah, I bought those up in Aberdeen. Unfortunately, they're just plate, but they have a quality to them, though there's a Scottish edge to it as well.
Yeah.
But I didn't get them cheap, though.
See how he slipped that in there, then?
Yeah.
You see how he just put that in there? There's a pair of silver plates, low, elongated, ovalized dishes with these wonderful inset matching, almost matching red polished stones running all the way around. It's got a real sort of hint of the arts and crafts movement in there as well. But they've also got that Glasgow school. They're very attractive.
Coated in the highest grade of silver plate and inlaid with ruby-coloured stones, the style of these oval serving bowls suggests their maker was influenced by the turn of the 20th century arts and crafts movement, which became particularly influential in Scotland, capturing the imagination of artists at the Glasgow School of Art. Dating from the early 20th century, these bowls could be worth around £700.
What are you asking for them?
And I would need 320 for them.
£320.
Yeah, 320, I'm afraid. And that's being fair with you.
Sold.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm looking at them thinking, these are going to cost me about 500 quid, 550 quid. George, 320 quid. Boom, thank you very much. We're buying those all day long. I like all the different layers in here, it's good.
It just makes the shop more interesting.
Ooh, tea. It's very smart up here. I'm not sure if we're even allowed in here. Cracking stuff. And paintings.
And this is a great Scottish artist. My father used to own cattle like this.
How did a Highland cattle dealer's son end up in Edinburgh selling 10-foot, you know,
Well, the main
flower paintings?
The main thing was the winters up in Aberdeenshire were lengthy sometimes. And one year in particular, there was snow every day for about 2.5 months. And that's why, you know, I thought, well, Edinburgh's the place.
I'm just going to pick up these fire irons. You got some fire irons down on the floor?
Oh, yeah, I forgot about those. Yeah, I could do those for 200 quid.
I'll take those, please, George.
Yeah, I think you'll do okay.
Thank you very
with
much.
George's ethos is all about perfect presentation. But today he's taking Drew for the promised exclusive sneak peek at some items that haven't yet graduated to the shop floor.
So, how far away are we going?
Yeah, just 10 minutes. So
Okay.
hopefully I'll sell you something. Now, Drew, go in here and see what you think of this place.
It's not bad. It's not bad at all.
Been in worse.
We've been in worse, yeah. This is stuff ready to be restored.
Yeah, stuff I'm keeping to repair.
So we've had a short drive across Edinburgh to George's storage warehouse. Couldn't be more different than the shop. But what it does have is George's knowledge and George's love of quality. George?
Yeah?
There's a curved front window seat, upholstered.
Oh, yes. That came of a house in Elgin. Very Scottish looking, I will say.
Very
that.
Scottish looking.
This elegant rosewood seat has the distinctive curved legs and carving popular in the late Georgian period. But it also has understated clean lines, suggesting a probable Scottish Puritan influence. Dating from around 1830, with its original gilt bronze caster, once reupholstered, this window seat could be worth around £600.
It's a bit late for me.
Is it?
Yeah.
He's normally having a nap now.
But it's got a look, hasn't it?
Got a look.
For the pain in the backside factor, can it be 300 quid?
300.
300.
Yeah, 300 quid.
We do a deal in the end at 300 quid. Is it Scottish? Yes, very Scottish. It's bang on period. Couldn't be more so. But window seats sell well. One thing we haven't spoken about is this fella.
Yeah, I wonder when we get to him.
I don't know what to make of this.
Where's he from?
Well, I got him out of a shed.
And then we come across something which is the most un-Scottish thing I've ever seen. It's some sort of maybe African figure covered in shells. There's a monkey skull on it. There's carved human faces. And it has a great big horn sticking out of its head. And it's quite a thing.
This figurine could be influenced by Nkisi statues from the Congo region, which were traditionally created by healers to offer spiritual protection. African artisans uprooted by the slave trade took the form to the United States, the Caribbean and South America, where some are still made today. This piece might be worth around £700.
£200.
I think it has to be, it's up there with the weirdest things I've ever looked at buying. Why the hell not?
I think you've got to take it.
We'll have it.
Yeah.
We'll have it. Now, just as a piece of art, let's just look at it as that. Just as a piece of art for 200 quid, I think we might be onto a winner with that one. Thank you, George.
No, I think you'll do
Much
okay with that.
appreciated. Right, should we load the van up? Let's go load it up, I think.
Yeah.
George is only a year or two older than me, if that. Both trained as restorers, both did fairs, both have ended up with nice shops. And I have to say, George's shop is particularly good. Buy of the day, I think it has to be a pair of dishes. And just because it's just, I've never seen anything like it in my life, our little statuette here that we bought.
It was great having Drew and T here today. We discovered we have quite a lot in common. There were a few surprises today. I was quite happy to manage to sell the African figure. It'll be interesting to see how he gets on with him back in Wales.
We're off to see a company I've never been to before called Rain and James, which I know nothing about. Nothing at all. But I thought, you've got to go to the places that you least expect to buy the good things.
Rain and James is no ordinary antique shop. Set on over 100 acres of farmland, Up until 2015, the site used to be an equestrian centre. The two showrooms are full of the weird and wonderful, all carefully selected by owner and former horse trader Philip Moyser.
The business itself is really a collection of stuff that I've hoarded over years and years and years, and have eventually put into a space. I like quirky stuff, different stuff, stuff that's tactile, stuff that I can look at and like, and hopefully somebody else will. Everybody knows Drew Pritchard. And here he is in Stanley, County Durham, looking at my little shop. So it's quite exciting.
Hello.
How are we doing?
Hello there.
Drew, nice to meet you. Thanks for having us.
My pleasure.
Looking forward to having a look inside. You've got all sorts of stuff. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's quite a nice thing, isn't it? Shame about the rot on it. That's a pain, isn't it? We literally pull up. The first thing I see is this rusticated cast iron garden seat. Now, usually the garden seats that are just two ends, I don't really bother with them. But this one, immediately I like it. Don't know why. Don't know why. It looks like sort of a clipped piece of hedgerow. That's what it looks like. Great colour. Rotten as a pear. You have to cut it to there.
Yeah.
It's a one-person bench then, isn't it?
There. It's going to
Make a seat.
It's going to become a chair, a big chair. But if we cut that timber down, so cut the rot off the ends and bring it down, it'll end up as a large single seat. Now, I've had way more luck selling those than benches in the past. How much are you asking for that?
I would have $350 for that. It's the frame you're buying.
I know. Can I put a cheeky bid?
Depends how cheeky.
Very. That's why I'm keeping this distance.
Okay.
£200.
No.
Come on, then.
No.
We've got to start somewhere.
No, mate, I've got to make a living.
I've got to make a living as well. Look, it's knackered.
I'm not a charity. $295.
£250.
$290.
Come on. Work with me. £275.
We'll bust it. $280, you can have it.
Deal. I felt a little bit bad because first thing I'm trying to buy and I'm giving him a proper kick in, trying to get like a load of money off it because I can only pay what it's really worth to me. We have a look inside?
Indeed. Off you go.
Thank you.
Right then. Whoa. This is not what I expected at all. My God, you filled this space up. Wow. You've got some nice stuff in it. I love that Kilburn sign.
That's a whopper.
It's a whopper.
Don't think I'll fade the van.
I was just thinking that.
Cut it in half.
We'd have to cut the end off.
They came out of a seafood restaurant.
I quite like them. That's crazy. It's got a registration mark on the back of this. Registered design 889415 lobster. Just in case you can't tell. Just in case you're under no illusion that it's a lobster. Oh, I'm glad they told me, though. 30 quid
Each.
each. So 50 quid the pair.
55. Bang. Bust it.
Are you expecting to buy lobster today?
No. I've just bought 2 cast iron lobsters. I have to stick to my principles that when I see something, I go, I'll have that. And I looked at the back of them, and they're cast iron, they're hand-painted, they're really quite well made. They're like those flying bird things you'd have on the wall, wouldn't they, like that?
Yeah. In succession. A trio.
God. They're dirt cheap for what they are. They're a giggle, and you have to not take yourself too seriously. Yes, at the moment, I've got a real piece of Chippendale furniture in my shop, a real one, from the hand of the master. And then I buy 2 cast iron lobsters. That's this job. I must think I'm losing my marbles. Quite like the sword swallower thing as well.
It's canvas. It's like that.
Freak Show's really good. I don't know
It's
if you see
made out
Freak
of
Show.
an army tent. Painted, hand-painted army tent. The Freak Show's just the same.
It's good, isn't it?
I like Freak Show. It's really
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, it's old canvas. What are you asking for that, or is it just decoration in the shop?
I would take 85 for it.
85 quid. Sold. Thank you very much.
Until as recently as the mid-20th century, so-called freak shows were massively popular and drew crowds to circuses and fairs. Original posters like this would have been around 15 feet long. But this smaller-scale reproduction was probably painted in the last decade. A quirky piece that's brilliantly executed. To the right buyer, it could be worth around £250.
It's cracking, isn't it?
Yeah, really
It's great.
good. Yeah, the face is amazing.
Great. That is an easy profit for us. It's not real, but it's painted in a way that is absolutely right for period. Stylistically, it's bang on, and it made me giggle. Well, today's working out. Freak show signs and cast iron lobsters. I'm losing me. Am I losing my touch? That freak show sign will go straight in the shop, and it will be gone the first weekend we're open, for sure. You like your signage, and I really,
I love
really
it.
like that.
I've had lots.
And it says it's Watergate Street, Chester, and then Oswald Street and Shrewsbury and Wrexham. It's got a thing, hasn't it? It's got a look to it, that. But being local to us as well, and Watergate Street, I mean, I was there not very long ago.
Really?
Yeah.
It's the colours got me. I think that it's quite complex.
Made in the early 1900s to advertise a removal business, this is just half of the original enamel sign. Nevertheless, you can still see that the whole picture would have been of a furniture cart, which is another indicator of its age. Despite the boys being 230 miles away from home, the sign lists towns close to Conwy and Drew Pritchard HQ, which may add appeal to local customers. It could be worth around £700.
So what you got on that, 225? What can you do on that?
You could have that sign for 190.
180?
Oh, man. 185. Come on, bust it.
Sold.
OK.
It's fab. It's got it all. Just because the state it's in, it doesn't detract. It ticks every single box, and a nice, easy seller. So what got you into doing this, then?
All my life, I've just collected things.
Yeah.
Seriously, just collected things. From a young'un, when I was 10, I used to dig for bottles. And it's just gone from there. And this has just had a room I had left after converting the barn.
It's different, you know, different works.
I forgot to mention, we've got a bit of a storeroom upstairs.
OK.
If you want to come and have a prod around.
Yes, please. Yeah.
I'll lead the way.
Yeah, sure.
Just follow me.
Right, then. Storage.
Here we are, the storage dumping yard.
It's my favourite bit, to be perfectly honest with you.
It's stuff I've got, it's just haven't got room.
OK. I quite like Santa. I don't need a Santa.
No.
I don't need it. I don't need it.
An enormous pair of bellows.
No.
Quite specific, that one.
Yeah.
Cupboard doors, I think.
Yeah.
I don't think it'll be massively aged, but they've got to be 60, 70 years old, I would have thought.
Yeah, I think they're a bit older than that, you know.
Yeah.
I think they're about 1910. Yeah, they're not terrible.
So if you buy them, you're going to put that on the website?
They're not terrible.
Doors, they're not terrible.
What are you asking for?
I'd take 195 for the four of them.
Under 50 quid each.
Yeah. That cannot be bad.
My background is in stained glass and leaded lights. I did a full apprenticeship from 16 on these things. Love them, hate them. I haven't bought any for probably a decade, to be honest. But they're very attractive. They're quite nicely done. And at £195 for the four, we'll have them. Thank you very much.
Right, OK.
Yeah. We are off to meet Lord Montague at Palace House, Bewley.
Oh, nice.
Oh, yes, nice. Bewley is known the world over as being the home of the British Motor Museum. There's a lot more to it than that. It's also Palace House and the surrounding gardens and the interior. Now, they've never really had a very big sale, but because they're opening more of the house to the public now, they do have furniture to get rid of.
Amazing.
So it's a prestigious house call, to say the least. And I, for one, cannot wait.
Built in the 13th century, soon after the reign of Richard the Lionheart, Palace House was originally the gatehouse of Beaulieu Abbey. The buildings were extended in the 16th and 19th century, and today it is a fine example of the quintessential Gothic country house, with an interior that has been maintained in a Victorian style. Parts of the Beaulieu estate are open to the public, including the famous National Motor Museum. For over 400 years, the estate has been owned by the Montague family, and Drew & T's guide for the day will be none other than the current Lord of the Manor.
I'm Lord Montague of Beaulieu, which is my family home and has been so since 1538, when the first Earl of Southampton purchased the Beaulieu estate from Henry VIII following the dissolution of the monasteries. So we have lots of history. It'll be really good to have Drew & T here because, as it happens, I've had a garage full of stuff and quite a few things in the cellars as well, which I'm not really sure what to do with. I'm certainly not throwing everything away because I am a bit of a hoarder myself, but I think there may be some things that he could persuade me to part with. So come and have a look in the cellar.
To see the items that are for sale, Lord Montague is leading Drew & T down into the old servants' quarters.
Oh, now
So-
you're talking. Wow. Wow.
I guess the older stuff here probably dates, well, I mean, I don't know, would this have been made for an electric light fitting or would it,
Yes.
right, so this would be Edwardian then?
Yes.
I guess.
Yeah.
I quite like these. I'm not hugely looking to get rid of them.
I'm hugely looking to buy them.
How are you?
Yes. This is the sort of room in my business you dream of going into. You know, you do. And I start to see some lighting on the shelving that is just beautiful. You know, you're always hoping to find that sort of thing, something that the normal people just wouldn't have. You know, only the lords and ladies would. And that's what we're after. Wow, look at these. They're fantastic. Shall we put a pile together?
Sure.
If you're feeling in the mood to sell some of your kit.
Right, another one. Same. Yes, it is.
They're all pendant lights, and they were designed to be used just hanging.
Yes, but with a shade.
There would have been possibly a shade inside
Yeah.
there with tassels or whatever, but now, these days, you'd probably use them without. I'd be more than keen to buy all of those. It's nice to find a whole set with history.
Thanks to the genius of Thomas Edison and Joseph Swan, electric lighting had become a reality in the late 19th and early 20th centuries, but only the wealthiest in society could afford it. Grand houses and stately homes such as Beaulieu were among the first to replace their candelabra chandeliers with new generator-powered light fixtures known as electrolier, a term that came from combining the words electric and chandelier. With the added provenance of Palace House, these lights could be worth around £1,500 per set of 4.
Can I buy 4?
Yeah.
Would that be all right? Then I'm leaving you with 4.
Yeah, that's
How's that?
yeah.
Yeah? All right, so I'll buy that 4. I think we need to do the same here. Mm-hmm. If I took those 4.
Yeah.
800?
Right. Are you looking at that as well?
Yeah.
So if we put this in as well and said
Yeah.
£1,000 for the whole lot,
I will have a deal with you at £1,000 for the lot. So that, 4 of those, and you've got yours. Deal?
it's a deal.
Fantastic. Wonderful. Very happy. You wouldn't get that out of a normal house. You know, they were made for here. So, country house basement, filled my boots, got some great things. Very happy.
OK, well, we've got a few more things to show you here in the garage, and these are mainly larger items of furniture.
Yes. There's a lot in here that I'm interested in straight away. This is more my sort of stock in trade. As if the cellars wasn't good enough, we now come into the garage and wow. We are looking at a complete sort of disinterred country house interior in a garage in the yard. And it's good, really good. Hindley & Son London slipper chair. So English, about 1860s. Slipper chair, nice, full original casters. Probably the back broken, yes. This one looks more interesting. No, it's not.
So if it's a ceramic caster, does that suggest it's later than the brass?
No, it's just not as good a quality.
Right.
It's a fairly standard-ish armchair, but it's a nice looking thing, you know. It's got a bit going for it. It's a bit country house, isn't it? And that one has been stamped there, so it's got a maker's mark there. You can just about see it.
Yes.
Something in
Holland, wonderful. There's a huge pile of chairs in front of me, something I'm pretty used to, but there's a couple of belters in here. Obviously, we're looking for anything with names on. OK, same maker again on this one. The casters. There you go. Holland again. And then we start pulling out chairs, and they start to be getting very, very good. There you go, stamped on there. All by Holland and Sons of London. All stamped up in really good country house condition.
Drew has pulled out no less than 7 chairs that he's interested in. Several have the mark of the British maker Holland and Sons. Famous in the mid-1800s for making furniture of the highest quality, this firm was commissioned to make pieces for Queen Victoria. They may look a bit battered and in need of some TLC, but once restored, the marked chairs could sell for around £1,000 each, and the unmarked ones for around £600 each.
Great chair, Moroccan leather, 1870s. That's of interest. So if we kick off with these 500, 200, 200, 500, 200, 300, 200. This one, because of the leather, we would go to 700. So do we have a deal?
You've definitely got a deal on those. I'm just
Pondering.
not sure about it. You don't want to go any higher on this one?
100 more and I'm done.
So that's 800.
800, that's it, that's it.
All right, well, I'll shake hands on 800.
Yeah?
On that.
800 sold. Right. That mirror is of interest as well, the overmantel in the old green paint. So the only other thing would be that.
This on the left?
Yeah, is it part of the other larger section?
No, it's not part of anything else. It's quite utilitarian, but...
It is, but it's got a great look to it.
Yeah.
This tall chest of drawers would probably have been used by one of the gentlemen of the household. It was made in England in the 19th century, of a good quality oak, and is highly functional as well as beautiful. Unusually, it still has all its original handles, complete with their ebony centres. With some light restoration, it could be worth around £1,500.
Valuation 300 to 500 is probably about right. So if we settled at 400, I'd buy it.
OK. All right, keep. I'll just ponder that while you look
ponder
around
that
the
one.
rest.
Right. So the Regency overmantel mirror in a terrible state, and it doesn't have much value. It's worth 150 quid. In beautiful condition, you know, high hundreds, but it just isn't. It's it's a bit of a. But I love the colour.
So you've offered me 400 for that and 150 for that.
Yes.
So how about 600 for the two?
You'll have a deal.
OK.
Thank you very much. There's a Regency overmantel mirror which has been overpainted, but the overpainting's really quite attractive. It's just a good decorative thing. And then there's a fantastic oak tall chest, just good.
Strategically located where Wales meets Shropshire and Herefordshire, the 11th century Ludlow Castle played a significant role in many conflicts, including the Wars of the Roses and the English Civil War. It was home to several princes of Wales, so Ludlow itself has for centuries been a flourishing market town, today boasting over 500 listed buildings, many from its prosperous Georgian period. Just a few miles outside the town, clustered together in a self-contained business park, 4 relatively new antique dealers have set up shop.
Hello.
Hello, I'm Stacey.
Stacey. Drew.
Nice to meet you, Drew.
How you doing?
Nice to meet you, T.
Right, can we have a look around?
Feel free.
Drawing on years of expertise not only of artifacts but also local history, it takes just seconds for Drew to home in.
This is nice.
Yes, Wellington knot. I bought it off a local gentleman.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's come out of Lemstraw, Ludlow, hasn't it?
Ludlow, off a house, a Georgian house.
Wow. There's everything in here, from snooker cues to Tiffany lamps to models of boats to kettles. And, lo and behold, amongst all of this stuff is a fantastic door knocker. That garland stroke sort of cuff sort of motif also at the back, they've always rusted away or been nailed to the door or been lost. Never, ever seen one in such beautiful condition.
The characteristic design of this cast iron door knocker first appeared in London in 1814, after the Duke of Wellington's victory over Spain. Wellington's hand grasps the baton of Field Marshal. With the royal seal at Ludlow, patriotic symbols of this kind may have been a natural choice for the town's wealthy inhabitants to adorn their front doors. This unusually complete example could be worth around £300.
What have you got in it,
50.
What will you do for that?
I can do 100.
Really?
Yeah.
You sure?
Yes.
That's very good of you, I'll take it.
Yep, brilliant.
Like that. Well, look, thank you. We're going to carry on having a wander around all the other guys, and we'll come back and sort everything out with you later.
Yep.
Is that all right?
Brilliant.
Marvellous. Thank you.
See you in a bit.
See you later.
Next door, Alan Pomfret's specialist business has only been open for a matter of days.
Hello.
Hello.
How you doing?
Not too bad, Drew.
Drew,
Not too
nice
bad.
to meet you.
I'm Alan. Hello, T.
All right, how are we doing? You're very neat.
I've only been open 2 weeks.
2 weeks?
2 weeks is my second week of being open.
So how did you get into doing this then?
I'm ex-military. I got into buying, collecting military for myself.
Yeah.
And then decided I was going to make a living out of it.
So the military stuff, you can tell me something, because I've just spotted something which I think I know what it is. It's the lamp.
Yes. It's either a prisoner of war or a convalescent piece.
Yeah.
It's a World War II battle dress. It's all oak carved. It's quite nice.
As soon as I walk in, I'm drawn to one thing in particular. I've always known it as convalescence art. So it's art carried out as therapy for people wounded, long-term wounded, and they are that thing which crosses a few boundaries in the antiques world as well. It's militaria, it's folk art, it's lighting, it's all of those things. I don't want the helmet.
But that can come off.
That can come off. It's absolutely lovely, isn't it?
It is.
105 on it, what can you do? I love it.
I could do 80.
Are you sure you're making money?
I'm making money at 80 on it.
Well, I'm going to buy them. Oh, yeah, that's brilliant. Lovely. Obviously, there is, you know, an emotion attached to anything from the Great Wars. It has that as well. But as a piece of art, right, it has that naivety to it that you only get with untrained artists, right? And I love that. There was something out here when we walked up. It's this carpet you've got here. Can we get it down from there? With...
Sure, I can get it down somehow. Just bear with me. You get that side. Right.
That's it.
Right, is it ready?
Yeah.
OK. Right.
Everybody out? Yeah. Oh, it is distressed,
It
isn't
is.
it? What have you got that down as?
Turkish,
Turkish.
early 20th century.
There's decorators out there who like the shabby boho country house. That is going to make a room, OK?
This giant carpet is constructed from 4 woven panels stitched together and has been sourced from a large country estate. It's either Turkish or Afghan in origin and likely to be wool.
How much can that be then?
I could do it for 150.
Sold. I think it's really, really beautiful.
This is
lovely.
nice.
Having already bagged some great pieces from Stacey and Alan, there are still 2 more dealers to visit, starting with Jack Holloway, who specialises in house clearances.
I do love a good house clearance place. We got any more of these?
There's a few knocking about.
Dairy bowls.
You can do that one at 50 quid.
Sold. Well, how much is the big one outside?
Large one there. I'll tell you what, I'll do 50 on that too.
Sure.
Positive, yeah.
All right, we'll have both of those. Couple of dairy bowls on there, one particularly good one. We get the pair for 100 quid. We've met, some money's changed hands. You know, it's those connections. You want to be on people's radar. They want to be able to say, oh, yeah, I know him, he'll want that. Right, brilliant. Thank you very much.
Thank you
We'll
very
on to the
much.
next one.
The final stop is a shop with a specialist mission. And it's the second time today that Drew will get early pickings.
Very much hunting, shooting and fishing themed.
Shooting and fishing. Right, OK.
And you're the first in, Drew. I've only opened the doors this morning.
You're kidding?
Nope, absolutely
The
not.
first person in.
First person in.
We're the first 2 people in. And very smart it is too. there are some things in here straight away that I'm thinking, oh yes, look at that. I can find a home for that. Here we go again. I've just sold 2 of these. I've just sold a matched pair.
3 is always better than 2.
How much are you asking for that one?
G. Kynoch & Co. was a 19th century British Midlands munitions manufacturer, which became highly successful after supplying guns for the Boer War. Lavish mirrors such as this one were provided to retailers to promote sales of Kynoch cartridges for hunting. Well preserved, this example could be worth around £1,500.
How much are you asking for that one?
Trade, I could do 1,100.
How's a grand grab you?
I'll meet you in the middle.
10.50?
Yeah.
Sold.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Just over £1,000. There's £300 to £400 profit left in it. Let's say it's worth about 1,500 quid-ish. And you've got all these traps underneath here, and something I really love, which are eel forks.
They look really nice, almost as architectural sort of display, because each region had different styles.
So you'd basically just trawl for your eels, wouldn't you? You'd just stick that in.
Yeah, absolutely. It'd be on the end of a long pole, and you'd spike them out of the mud, and they'd stick in through those tines there.
Eels have been a staple British food for many centuries. So important to society that at the time of the Doomsday Book, people in England owed more than 500,000 eels in taxes each year to their landlords.
Can we get them all out?
Yes, of course we can.
Are they all for sale?
Everything's for sale, Drew.
Righto. We're into folk art territory here because they were regional. There was lots of different styles, lots of different sizes, lots of different ages. So if you put those on your wall, it makes that room immediately feel like it's been there a very long time, and there's been, you know, collectors bringing them in, and that sort of thing's been in the family for years. And it embodies a brand new room with age. And basically, that's what we do. Okay, that's what we're doing in our job.
I found a few more, Drew, you might be interested in.
Okay. Those ones. Oh, that's the daddy. Look at that. Yeah, that's incredible. Okay.
Absolutely. And some more.
So how much is this one?
Say 150.
150, and say if we're saying 50 quid each on each one of these.
Yeah.
So it's what? How many's there now? 18, 19, 20, 21, 22.
22.
Okay.
That's 1,100.
1,200 with this?
Yeah, I'm happy with that.
Yeah?
Yeah, let's go for it.
First day of trading? Happy?
All got to be sold someday.
Not happy, he's elated.
First hour, first day of Lee being open, we walk in and spend over 2,000 quid with him. I should imagine he's quite happy. But also, I will always call back in again, because he's a guy who's buying good things.
Drew wants to add some more eclectic items to add to his haul of traditional pieces. Today, he and T are driving 130 miles to Walsall in the Midlands. Known as the town of 100 trades, from the 19th century onwards, Walsall prospered from the production of goods made from leather and cloth. The town was also known for its metalwork because of the plentiful supplies of iron ore in the area.
So today we're off to a place called the Doghouse, and they do everything. Everything. Jewellery, garden, fireplaces, lighting, furniture. You name it, it's in there apparently, but I've never been, so I'm keen to have a look.
On the outskirts of Walsall is the Doghouse, a business that's been running for over 30 years. Converted from a 1960s church, it's now a place to worship antiques and collectibles. It has 6,000 square feet of space that's jam-packed from floor to ceiling. The Doghouse is run by the daughter of the original owners, Faye Rutter.
It's a great place to work. I mean, I work with my family every day. I bring my dog to work, and we're busy, and I love to see people. We deal in all sorts of things. If we can make a profit on it, we will deal in it. You can come here and you can spend from 10p to £10,000. We have something for everybody. You'd be very surprised what we find in Walsall.
Hello.
Hello, gentlemen.
How you doing, all right?
Yes, very nice to see you.
Good, good, good. We've come for a wander around your lovely shop.
Wonderful.
Do you mind?
I don't mind at all, yeah. I'm going to leave you guys to it. Just shout if you need any help.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Right, we'll crack on. Lots to see. Got Jaws.
Gonna need a bigger shop.
There's all sorts here. Big, full, bright, colourful, nice place to be. Big shop.
To remember to look up as well.
Yeah.
The chairs.
So we've got a lot of new furniture, new lighting, new mirrors and decoration mixed in with antique, vintage, retro, you name it. I like that.
It's a cheese dish.
Yeah, I just really like them. I'll ask her to get that out later for me.
There's a lot here, isn't there?
Lots. Lots and lots and lots. Look at that. That must be new.
The condition of it, yeah.
I don't know, actually. Look, all the legs all sort of creased there. I think it's an old one. Is it? Don't know why I tapped it. Makes no difference whatsoever.
No. And you've just upset it as well.
We've seen an elephant this size as well in Holland. Do you remember?
Yeah, vaguely.
When it was knackered. I think it's right.
Should I give Faye a shout?
Yeah, please, yeah.
All right, Faye. Drew's admiring your rhino.
This thing here.
This thing.
I've had loads, dozens and dozens and dozens of these things. Love them, had them from this size all the way through to maybe that big.
Have you had one that big?
No. I mean, how much is it?
It's got to be 750 quid.
Right. Can you tell me anything about it? Because it looks right to me. I mean, you sold it as an original.
I bought it the same time as a leather elephant,
Yeah.
and I bought it off the back of someone's wagon
Yeah.
that had come back from Holland. Other than that, I can tell you no more other than I fed him today.
These were retailed by Liberty. Not completely solely, but mostly. And this is exactly the same as the little ones.
You know more about it than I do, I'm afraid.
Well, I should do, but I've never seen one this big.
Would you like to see him down?
I wouldn't mind.
Back in the 1920s, the famous department store Liberty of London started selling a range of leather animals that were hand-stitched and stuffed with straw. Incredibly popular, they came in all different sizes and are still highly sought after today. Over the years, Drew has bought and sold many of them and thinks this rhino was made by the same company. If it was, then it could be worth around £2,000.
I've seen some big ones, but the scale of this rhino is way bigger than the rest, but it's exactly the same. Its manufacturing method is identical, the finish is identical, the materials used and how they're used is the same. I don't know, you know, it's certainly striking. If it's right, if it is right, it's extraordinary. I think it's real, I think it's right, I think. But am I £750 right? I don't know.
I can't help you with that one, I don't know.
Yeah, go on. Yeah, we'll take it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that a right yes?
It's a right yes. It's not a right no. Wouldn't mind seeing the elephant before I go.
Follow me, gentlemen. I'll show you the elephant.
Have you named him at all?
Drew.
Aha.
Ta-da!
Right, OK. It's literally the elephant in the room.
Literally the elephant in the room.
He's a cracker,
So-
isn't he?
Again, it just looks right, doesn't it? You got 750 on that one. So is that it? That's it, that's the death.
As soon as you had the rhino, I'd put him in at 700 if you wanted him.
Right, OK. I'll have it. 700 quid, I'll have it. Thank you very much.
Brilliant.
Thank you. Let's keep going. Yeah. Let's keep going and having a look around.
I'll follow you, gentlemen.
Elephant and a rhino.
If they prove to be right, what are they worth? What are they worth? 1,500 quid each? Easy. Easy. Are they worth 2,000 quid each? Yes. 2,500 quid each? Yes. Who knows? If I lose, I lose. If I win, I win. And that is the job. That is what we do. You have to make your luck wherever you can. I'll take my chances on them. If nothing else, they're going to look fantastic in the shop window. I have been in the doghouse a few times, but today was probably the most enjoyable time I have, and we bought well. The cheese dish I bought, love that. The leaded lights I bought, the little lanterns, fab, great, fun, nice, easy sellers, no problem. Not going to cause me any problems, either of those. The rhino and the elephant bear further examination. Potentially, we've smashed it. Potentially. We will see.
It's been great having Drew here today. He was lovely to deal with. I thought he was going to buy more sort of architectural sort of stuff. I wasn't expecting him to buy, like, Noah's Ark. And if ever I get any more leather animals, Drew's the first person I'd let know.
As he'd hoped, this week Drew bought a lot of period stock. But no one could have predicted that he'd also come back with 2 giant leather animals. Over the past few days, they've been given a bit of TLC and are now proudly on display.
As you can see, his ears now are completely different. We've repaired the nose, that was broken. The eyes have been polished, and he looks great. He's on the website now for sale. The elephants in the window, sold immediately, off to Iceland, believe it or not. They're fantastic things, and the more we look at them, the more convinced we are that they were definitely made for Liberty of London. But we think these were demonstration models or sales models that you would sell from, or a very, very special order.
Drew and T have been on a quest to buy quirky and unusual items to stock the shop. For their final call, they're heading 220 miles back down south to Macclesfield to visit an antiques warehouse.
This is a newish business started up by a husband and wife team on an old garden centre site, which they own, I think. And they have got a massive stock of Indian and Anglo-Indian antiques, as well as architectural salvage. And they're in one of the sort of wealthiest bits of the country as well.
Yes, very much so.
Macclesfield is a busy market town that thrived in the 1800s, thanks to its factories manufacturing the finest silk. On the outskirts is Decorative Salvage, a huge warehouse that's home to a vast collection of fascinating items. It's run by Andy Harding and Melinda Pellegrin.
My father and his wife, 20 years ago, they were traveling through India, and by chance, a local contact in India gave them the opportunity to buy their first few items. Over the last 20 years, that's become even more of a business and also a passion of my father, which we're both very pleased to continue. And Melinda and I are honoured, delighted to be welcoming Drew and T here today.
Hello.
Hi, Drew.
How you doing?
Hi, T.
How we doing?
Welcome to Decorative Salvage.
Let's lead on.
Sounds lovely.
Let's go.
Nice day for it.
Beautiful day. Couldn't be a better day for it.
How big is this site then?
23 acres.
Wow.
Whoa. Wow. Well, that's impressive.
Thank you.
Looks great. The good thing with all of this Indian stuff is it's a massive splash of colour, isn't it?
Right.
It really is. It's in your face. What we have here is a huge collection of Indian antiques from all over that subcontinent, and there's everything from doors to cupboards to carvings to carpets, lighting, decoration, doorknobs. They've got it all. What's that?
This is a palanquin. This was traditionally used and still is used today for carrying the bride. The groom would ride ahead on a white stallion and the bride would be carried along.
What kind of age is that then?
That would be about 150, I'd say, yeah.
Wow. I'm looking for the bit that sort of relates to what my customers are after.
Yes.
So it's predominantly interior decoration. It can come from anywhere, though. What on earth? Where did you get that from? I'm going to, obviously India, but what a thing. Has that been newly done?
Yes, that was actually newly painted. That was an old door, recently painted. When I say new, I mean I'm probably in the last 10, 20 years.
It's just the sort of thing you need on it. You can decorate around that.
Yeah.
You know, that's just, it's great fun for a bit of wall art. I think wall art is just one of the bits that I love to buy because it changes everything.
Yeah.
These days, it doesn't have to be a pure antique.
No.
That's nice when you can get it, but...
I mean, the door Certainly.
Yeah,
a piece
God
of
knows.
wood. God knows how long that is.
Yeah.
A claimed piece of wood, but they've obviously made the most of an old original door.
Love it. I'd have that at home. It's
Yeah.
fun. What's that worth? What are you asking?
We're asking $440 for that.
440 is just a little bit too much.
Sure.
Open for a bid on it?
Yeah, sure.
300? Cheeky, but, you know, got to ask.
You happy with 350?
I'd be happy with 350.
Okay.
Thank you very
Deal.
much. Yeah,
Pleasure.
Go on then.
Snappy deal.
Snap it up.
Fantastic.
A two-plank door with a alligator painted on it. Who doesn't want one of those? It's fun, and it does hark straight back to the English interior. That works. That will work, trust me. Put that in a classical English room, surround it with beautiful photographs, it will work. It's got enough about it. It's slightly eccentric, it's very eccentric, but it works. This looks like it's got a fair bit of age to it.
Yes. It's a mythical creature.
Mythical creature, it's a
yeah,
stool.
Sort of, well, I think it's more of a decorative statue.
How much is that?
You drew that 160.
160. You know, I thought it's got an elephant's eye.
Combination of an elephant, a
dog, a horse.
A horse.
Wait, how much? 160?
160, yeah.
I'll have a deal with on that. I'll buy it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
That's
Deal.
fab.
Thank you.
That will go next to somebody's fireside. What I like about Indian antiques is the wear, for one, all the chips and scruffs and all that type of thing. But it's the bright colours that I like. I really like the sort of really vivid colours that things and the slightly crazy aspect to some of it. It's ornamentation and decoration just for the sake of having it on a lot of it, and I love that. Check him out. Look at him. How much do these sell for?
So the larger ones are 85.
Yeah.
Well, some of the smaller ones, in fact, I mean, this one here, that still retains a value of 70, because it's the little Buddha boy, this one here.
They're great. That's a belter, isn't it? That one. So age-wise, what are these?
Well, these are all old original clay vintage toys, so...
The toys?
Yeah.
I like those. All right, well, how much is he, then? So if I take that one and that one, those two.
Right.
I like those two.
We can do 65 on him and 50 on him.
OK. All right. All right, well, I'll take those two.
OK.
And then that one. Is that one cheaper?
No, that's
the
a little
expensive
Buddha
one.
boy.
And that's because of that original paint on it?
Yes, and also the you know, being a little Buddha as well, it has a sort of a greater appeal and recognition.
These small figures are made from terracotta and represent Hindu deities. It's hard to determine their exact age, as items like these are still being handcrafted in India today using the exact same method. The figure's appeal is in the intricacy of their carving, their vibrant colours, and their individuality. They could be worth around £150 each.
Well, I think I'll have to have him, because I think he's rather beautiful.
Yes.
So he's what, 60?
Do him 65.
Sure?
Yeah.
Great.
Fine.
All right, well, I'll take those three. I should imagine there are millions, if not billions, of these things all over India. But I'm not in India, I'm in Cheshire, and they're right in front of me, and they're not too much money. They were probably pennies. But over here, they're 50, 60 quid. That's OK. There's still a profit in them. That's enough. We'll buy them. Another new business into the antiques trade, another new pair of dealers. They're friendly and easy to deal with. The prices are great. The stock is ready to go. That's how you want to be doing it. I think the painting of the alligator and the little statue of the man are probably my two favourite buys. The antiques world is all about difference, and for me it's all about mixing styles and eras and colours, and this is what businesses like this do.
It's been a great day. Really enjoyed meeting Drew and T. He particularly showed a real interest in the figurines, which was, you know, needs an acute eye to recognise the detail in the figurines.
That was a good mix of stuff. It's not every day you go in, you can buy a mythical beast, a load of little pot-bellied gods, and a crocodile tailgate. You know, that's a tailgate off a truck.
Is it?
A It's a tailgate. If you look at the steelwork on it, it's 2 planks off a pickup truck, and it's a drop-down tailgate. So somebody, for some reason, whatever, had a pickup truck with an alligator painted on the back of it.
For 1 week, Drew Pritchard has taken comedian and salvage enthusiast Johnny Vegas under his wing to expound his knowledge of the trade.
I collect a lot of old fairground stuff.
They're at the Blackpool Illuminations warehouse, where Johnny's in his element, but is taking a back seat as Drew attempts to do a deal for a giant spaceman from 1970.
700 quid, I'll have a deal.
Say what, 750.
Sold.
Thank
Excellent.
you. Brilliant.
We just bought a spaceman. Hey! We end up a very reasonable 750 quid. We have perfect provenance for it. There is only 4 in existence. I own one of them. Why not? Just why not? I think I saw these last time.
Okay.
Are these available?
They are. These used to be on they were the street lights for amenity lighting, so they used to be right close to the sea, on the sea wall.
Where's the light? In the top
In
here?
the top, yeah. I think you could do a nice job refurbing those, actually.
Just got to think what we could do with that. Cool, aren't they? A pair of them would be good. What do you think?
Well, I had my eye on them since I come up the stairs.
So we got to the top of the steps in the warehouse, and immediately on my left-hand side, I see one of my favourite things, great big old lamps. They're fab. They were made for Blackpool Illuminations brand new, but they've never been used. These were spares, so they're pristine. I'll take the complete ones.
Yes.
Complete ones at £100 a pop. I know.
How much? You drive our bargain. How about, could you go to 150?
Why don't you meet him halfway at 125?
He's good. That's good. That's good.
I like that.
I like that. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I reckon we can do that.
Deal. They do need rewiring, and they're probably going to have the colour changed as well. It's something I don't like doing, but they're going to go to a commercial project. You know, they're not going to be used in somebody's house. They're nightclub, pub, restaurant, bar, whatever. That's what they are for. Look at this. How many times in your life do you get to... Well, I've done it twice now.
All right, yeah. All right, Johnny, be patient. It's put me in the mood already.
It does that. What I have got are these hearts.
Ooh. I like.
And they're all in different
just
sizes.
Before you said that.
Now, you'd have to put some lighting inside them.
Yeah.
I'm guessing what you could do, if you could use them mount them on boards, couldn't you, and get...
What we did with the last slot we had, on a lot of them, we split them in half, put a light in each one, and put a piece of board behind one, and sold them as single lights.
You've got
That's the way to go with these, to be honest with you.
If I bought a large one and a small one,
yeah,
what would you give me on them?
Large one and a small one, £100.
Shave a bit off. 80.
About 85.
I'll tell you what, I'll come up, I'll meet you at 90.
Go on, brilliant, that's fantastic.
I've got certain lighting from Soho and everything.
Wow.
And
These are
match
great.
Up with them perfect.
These are great.
Okay.
And you're getting 4 lights out of this.
Yeah.
As well, so it's perfect.
The hearts were a no-brainer, and especially when Drew suggested splitting them in half. I've got some lighting examples at home that they'll blend in with perfectly. So the hearts were... You'd have to be mad not to. Richard,
yes.
I saw something coming up here.
Okay.
And I feel like you've almost died in it for me.
Right.
But...
Oh.
Tell me what...
This?
I think that... I'll wait till you see this.
Well, it's lacking any artistic merit.
Oh. Do you know who designed it? Do you want to know who designed that?
Who designed it?
Lawrence Llewellyn Bowen.
Did he really?
Genuinely, it was a theatre on the prom called the Theatre de Moor.
Ah.
And
oh, yeah.
It
now
was...
now, actually, it's all right.
Oh.
How about 175?
How about 150? And I've got a perfect sign it could sit over.
Oh, yeah.
Off a speed.
I'll tell you what, I'll go 160. Done.
I'll do 160.
Have it. No, I'll go over a tenner, thank you.
Yeah, no
That's
problem.
wonderful. I absolutely love it. It's going to be in my living room, so it's going to be in my life. It's perfect. It's not for sale, it's mine. She's a keeper. And I love buying passion pieces, because that's what I want in my home. Passion pieces, stories, backgrounds. And I adore her.
Blackpool Illuminations has come up trumps for us again. We have had a brilliant day. We've bought incredible things, interesting, unusual, one-offs that you ain't going to get anywhere else. Johnny was like a kid in a candy shop. He could not believe his eyes. He's been buying little bits here and there online, finding small pieces, so to be presented with huge pieces of artwork and lighting, you know, from the home of British entertainment, he is over the moon.
It's amazing. I think I did really well. I'm buzzing. And I am excited and I'm loving it. And I am filling my life with beauty.
Before calling it a day, the boys are heading down to the seafront and the iconic Blackpool Tower, where there's a surprise in store for Johnny.
We've got something a bit special for you now.
I think you're going to like this, Johnny.
Come on. You're going to like this. And Richard and T and I have put this together for you now. So you're going to flick the lights on Blackpool. Come on. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
But the problem is, Johnny, once you switch them on, you have to pay the bill for all the lights.
I don't want this.
Come on.
Johnny, this is the real switch that was used from 1934 to turn the lights on.
And is this for sale?
In a word, no. So if we can do a countdown from 5, and all we need to do is pull that switch down.
I'm having a moment. Genuinely having a moment. You have these little points like this where you go, oh, I wish my mum and dad were here. I wish my mum and dad were here to witness this. Because my mum would criticise how I flick the switch. And my dad would.
Your dad would complain about how they were wired.
Yeah.
Who's paying for that? Go on then.
Ready?
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Shopping it!
How do you feel, Johnny?
I feel part of history.
You like that, pal? That's great, wasn't it?
I'm going to cry. I am,
You all right,
genuinely.
Right. It's beautiful.
Give it 10 minutes and I'll be shouting at people, see that, I did that.
Oh, that is brilliant.
Oh, wow.
To soak up Johnny's handiwork, the boys have time for a classic Blackpool supper on the comedy carpet, a 1,880 square metre piece of public art that commemorates many of the UK's comedy icons.
So, Johnny, your name's here. Front first.
I know.
How did you get into comedy then? How did you get to that point?
I went and saw stand-up first time and I went, oh God, this is amazing. I've never seen this. I've watched it on telly and everything, but when I watched it live, I just went, there's something about this.
Do you still remember your first gig?
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah. Where was it?
I was a compere at the college karaoke. And then me and my best mate, Brad Davis, decided it should be, I went to Johnny Casino, based on Johnny Casino and the Gamblers, you know, from the Grease film. Mm-hmm. And then it was like, me and my mate decided it should be Johnny Vegas, and we can't remember why we decided it. So it's kind of lost in time, which I sort of like me.
Did you scratch that in yourself, or is it?
Mine peels off. The council come down and chased me off. I was amazed when I'd admitted us.
You enjoyed today then, fellas?
Yeah,
Today's
amazing.
been brilliant.
It's up there, isn't it?